Gaurav for that, not introducing me and keeping some more time for us to take up the chat section. But before we get started, there is something which one of our colleagues has prepared. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. We have done a test run in the morning. I hope it works fine right now. You never know with technology. Can someone confirm you can see my screen? Gaurav, can you confirm? Perfect.
Yes,
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our keynote speaker, the founder and chief community officer of Kids Books Cafe, Asha Chaudhary.
So before I actually officially invite Asha on stage to take over the session, it's time to introduce Asha. Asha is a communications professional with 2 decades of experience across advertising and filmmaking. Since 2011, her focus has been on community building in India. Asha is the founder and chief community officer of Kids Book Cafe, a niche reading and writing community to help parents and kids discover and buy age-appropriate children's books. She has co-founded the Robin Hoods, one of India's first startup communities, and constantly connects entrepreneurs with collaborators. She's passionate about building inclusive communities, keeping them engaged and purposeful. An aspiring kidlit author, Asha calls herself a mompreneur. Writer, traveler, foodie, Zumba enthusiast. Film art list fest junkie who always has movies, music, and mojitos in her mind. And the best is kept for the last. She lives in Goa by the beach. Asha, I'm going to start off with the question: how is it living by the beach in Goa and working from home before it was mainstream today?
Hi, Hardik. Thanks so much for the kind intro. So yeah, most people, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Perfectly audible.
Perfect. Okay. So most people, so yeah, first of all, if you live in Goa, internet is always a dodgy thing. So bear with me if you see me come and go, we'll somehow fix that. So yeah, when you live in Goa by the beach, people think that you're automatically, your laptop is plugged into the beach and you're sipping a mojito or a margarita on the side. But no, I've been working from home for over a decade. So yeah, before it was a thing. So, but I feel that I'm more productive in Goa than in Mumbai or wherever I go. I mean, I'm not used to meeting people. I'm used to interacting with them online. Sans the cam, of course.
All right, Asha. Tell us quickly about Robin Hoods. How did it start? What was it all about? And where it is today?
So how did community building basically happen to me? Yeah. In a nutshell, it just happened to me. I never knew that there was something called something like community building in the first place. I didn't even know it was a vertical. The idea was just to help a friend edit all of his content. And before I knew it, the whole community fell in my lap. So it was like, you're thrown into the sea and then you learn how to swim, as simple as that. So because I think when any community, I mean, the basis of any community is a purpose. So we were very clear with the purpose, which was to make an entrepreneur's journey a little less lonely, because anybody who's been an entrepreneur knows how lonely it gets and how daunting it is. So that was the whole idea. So when anybody starts a community, I keep saying, please be high. It's not about your in marketing, you say product, people, that first you need to have a purpose. Here it's the why, not the what and the how. Here it's the why. So yeah. So I think in about the next 5 years, we did a lot, we connected, I think, almost every entrepreneur from who had, founded something between 2010 and 2016 was a member. And I think what people remember us for is the long-lasting relation.
Okay, I think the Goa network is definitely showing up. But I think while we reconnect Asha on the screen with all of us, there's going to be a quick poll for all of you. I'm very smart, right? I've kept that engagement for all of you people. So my question to all of you people is that as an XCOM member, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you all face uh, in engagement? Like Asha is an expert in community building and engaging community members and see how things move around. So, as a member of a club, especially in the XCOM, what is your biggest challenge as a club XCOM? I'm going to launch the poll on your screens. Here it goes. Getting new members to join the club, getting members to switch on their videos, or your biggest question is, bhai, ye engagement hota kya hai? And while that happens, I'll quickly check. Keep the poll on. There are 105 people all in the room who can vote, and only 50 of you have voted. What are you guys? It's my engagement activity. Yeah, at least respond to me. All right, we have Asha back. Sheila, to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. So sorry. This is crazy. Okay. So where was I?
So while you were off, I just did a quick poll with the people, Asha, asking people what is the biggest challenge as a club XCOM in terms of getting people on board, getting people to switch on the videos. So you have built a community of two very diverse kinds. One is entrepreneurs who are going through different journeys, different struggle. At Kids Book Cafe, it's about the kids and parents. At Toastmasters, it's about public speaking. How do you keep them engaged and involved throughout the journey? There's always a time like there's a fatigue attached to it. You've done it enough. How do you keep that going?
Yeah. So content is queen, always. If you have kick-ass content, and people see value in that, they will keep coming back. So you need to first figure out what is the hook. For you, it is people's content, what they share. So how do you make it more and more meaningful and inclusive? Hardik, the key to any successful, meaningful community is to be inclusive, right? So if you have one speaker, you need to celebrate that speaker over a time, so after the show is over, after the event is over, don't forget that person. Share the highlights of that person. Start taking meaningful quotes out and amplify that. The more you do that over social media, the more amplification you do, the more recognition your club gets as an inclusive club. That becomes a tribe. There are groups and then there are tribes, right? I would also say a lot of clubs work in silos. So I always wonder, why don't they do, some sort of exchange program where, if you have 3 speakers, then 2 are from your club and 1 is from another club. There's so much of sharing. So the power of communities revolves around the power of sharing, the power of many, right? Shared knowledge. So if you could sort of have this kind of synergy around. Also, I believe in clubs, there are torch bearers, right? It's not that you're going to be the glue that keeps everybody together forever. So I think each club lead or club head needs to sort of develop a community culture. And then, like a relay race, you need to sort of, give the next torch bearer, the flavor of the culture for him or her to, sort of carry it on. So that, it shouldn't be that, you finished your whole, your tenure, and then instead of passing the torch on, everybody's like, hi, Hardik chala gaya, and, they're sitting with a candle, a diya ki Hardik kahan chala gaya, So it needs to be seamless that way. You can't depend on one person. A community, which is why inclusive communities, it's about everybody.
So community, like you mentioned, is not a person driven. It's more about how entire community together is. You mentioned about cross exchange. Like today we have people from Hyderabad, Pune, like that's where the district is, and people joining in, attending these sessions, and able to do that, be
Lovely.
part of all of these talks. But one important word you use is the club culture. I'm going to put on the next poll for all of you people. What is the best thing about your club? You all are members of Toastmasters in some club across India, at least I'm assuming. Tell us what is that thing about your club which is your stickiness, and your answers are on your screen. Me myself, the snacks during the break, or vibe. I don't know what that is, but everyone talks about it. But it's there. And can I have audience members switching on the videos as well so I can see the reactions and expressions, and I know that you're attentive and the questions are relevant, the responses are relevant. So you were speaking about culture. You're speaking about it doesn't happen overnight. It has to be built over time. And like you mentioned, probably I start something, I pass on the back into the next person. But we all need to be in sync, right? You can't. The next person doesn't have to start from scratch all over again. They build on what was built earlier, and that's how you build a good foundation, a big culture, and that's how communities last for decades or 12 years. Like Toastmasters was 94 years old because someone started it, but that didn't stop with the next person taking over and building forward. So what's your take? How do you ensure that it's a not-for-profit, all right? We don't get paid for it. None of us get paid for what we do. We are paid to be members of the club. So how do you ensure that kind of passion stays for the community? And it's not always about me, myself. It's about everyone around. Right, I think we'll have to do the next Kaleidoscope in Goa probably, because Asha has stopped out again and my poll question has already been asked. So I am not really sure what I'm going to use the filler over here. But I think I'm going to leave it open for the people in the chat to tell us. I gave some very random quirky options on the poll, but what do you think is the thing that sticks to your club? Why are you part of your club? Like Sunitya part of Chatrati, Pratpal part of Palava, Jyoti part of Ghodbandha, Sneha part of Mumbai Toastmaster. What is that one thing that is your stickiness factor? That's what we call the sticking factor, right, in a club. And we have Asha back.
Hi, I'm back. So sorry,
Yes.
This is crazy.
You can respond to
This
that
is
now.
like, yeah, okay. I can see you've asked about. I'll respond to that. So it's majorly about a sense of belonging. So when I talk about inclusiveness, along with that comes that huge sense of belonging that this community is mine, So how do you achieve that? You need to involve as many people as possible. Hardik, if you remember, for our open houses, every time we would have a different organizing committee, even though it was hard for me to, reinvent the wheel. But what would happen is that, everybody felt like, it was their event that they are organizing, that sense of pride, so then they know what all is they're part of the core team. So this whole thing of a core team is very, it needs to be inclusive. You need to break the barriers, as simple as that. There can be no core team. Like if somebody once asked me, recently asked me that, are you building Kids Book Cafe by yourself? So I just politely replied, I said, a communitypreneur is never a solopreneur, because all my members are my co-founders. It's as simple as that. We are building it together. So you need to, if you are a part of the core team, you need to break down the walls, like how 30 years ago or 20 years ago, it wasn't, 5 stars want a friendly place. Everybody wouldn't walk into it. How did they realize that they need to become more friendly so that, other people walk into it? Similarly, you need to be more and more inclusive. What helps with me is I keep reaching out to the community and ask them what they want from the community. So keep doing that. Keep asking people how you need to improve, what's missing, what would they change given a chance, what would they do? Hardik, I don't know if you remember, I used to send out a weekly newsletter, and we would digitally, give.
Yeah, now suddenly everyone is attentive with eyes open because the audio is gone off. Yes, you're right. So we have lost all Asha's connection again. I think this has been so. This is probably one thing you have to remember when you're working from home or working while traveling, that it's not always a very good option. You'll have to probably have some place to stick around and stand. And Goa isn't the best place for your internet connections and your Toastmasters meetings. So I'm going to quickly ask the people over here in terms of one of the major challenges that you face in terms of your clubs today in the online environment. I don't have a poll for that, but some people say, members are not attending the meeting. Some people say the engagement is not happening. Some people believe that public speaking doesn't happen in front of a camera. We broke some of these myths yesterday when we had Sonal and Raj joining us. But what do you think, as a member of the club, probably what do you think is missing right now in the Zoom environment? Or as an ECOM officer, what is your biggest challenge in terms of getting members to attend the meetings and have the videos on? So the chat section is open for all of you to get to those responses. So everyone is passionate about communication and help. All right. So one important thing in a discussion with Asha we had offline was the fact that all people who join a community at the start have a set of needs, expectation, and wants when they join it, when they come to this ecosystem. But over time, that might change, that might develop to a different need, different expectation. After 6 months, probably I'm a different person. I want something else. I started off with probably audience reaction is missing in online meeting. I miss them during the humorous speech contest because you don't know someone is laughing or someone is smiling or someone is like, it's a very bad joke. It can joke can fall flat, right? Like I tried one yesterday that what was your plan in 2015 for 5 years and the fifth year is 2020. All right. And the joke was supposed to be COVID and no one could plan that. But no one understood that joke yesterday. And so I realized that I had to explain my joke and that becomes a joke on myself. And okay, I don't have more content than that because I was supposed to be the one asking questions and not answering questions over here. I hope Asha is joining back. Yes, she is joining back. So I got an instant feedback from members who face expressions. Okay, Ramesh, I will pass on your feedback to Asha right now, but probably we can do that for the next segment in terms of engagement of communities. So the point of trying to make that, we have to stay in touch with the members and understand how the needs are developing and evolving over time. I may have started with someone who is not confident, but probably in a year's time, I became confident on public stage. And has my need been met? Yes. But do I have a new need to be met? That you need to figure out, and that needs to keep changing. And that's how the club and the XCOM needs to keep developing and working around that aspect. I will quickly check if Asha is back. I have to launch the next poll again, which is the last one. Mentors can be a good way to connect with members. Yes, that is something I'm going to ask Asha as well, but let's just hope that she rejoins soon. Okay, this was one thing we had not planned for. Human interaction is where people connect and stick around. All right, can you guys switch on your videos? At least I know that you guys are around, alive and kicking. So, all right, how many of you have had members who have left the club and rejoin after 6 months or 12 months or something like that? And, what do you think has brought them back? In the chat section, so that people understand and feel that. I can see Mahesh, he was part of Mumbai Toastmasters. I can see Palawa in front of you right now. So yeah, I mean, what is the thing that brings people back to the community? Is that something that they were missing or some, because it's online, I had members joining back. Okay, Sunita, that is the reverse of what people expect because we had a lot of people leaving because it was online. So that's good to hear that we had members joining back because it's online. We have Asha back. I can see in the waiting room. Thank you, Asha. Goa, you guys, please pray for the Goa network for the next 10-15 minutes. We need that. Should we off the video? I don't think she has a bandwidth issue. Actually, she has her own issues at Goa. Goa is not known for that. It's not for its beaches and not for its network. But yeah. All right. Anyone else wants to share their stories about the fact of how have you been building your communities, keeping your clubs active, alive? I know some of you people have been doing some interesting meetings as well, interesting team meetings. So, can anyone want to share that? I'll unmute you quickly, and we can share some of your meeting stories, which you believe excited people to join back to the clubs. Sunita, you want to talk about it? I'm going to give you a stable topics. I'm sorry, but yeah. Okay, we have Asha back. As soon as I'll put you on pause. I'm sorry. Yeah, she's like, I think you pray for the network in Goa and not to me right now. Yes, Asha.
Yeah, I'm back. So sorry. This is very, very strange. So I think now I am convinced that nobody is going to invite me for an event for the next whole year at least.
We'll invite you in person, or probably we'll just travel to Goa for our next conference. I think you can host us in person. I think we can
That
definitely
makes
do that.
sense. That makes sense. Mojito. I'll make the mojitos. That is my promise to you.
We can probably have the next conference by the beach. That'll be very
Absolutely.
interesting and exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Asha. So coming back to where we were in terms of the questions, in terms of the engagement of people, the attrition, people will move out. We can't stop people from moving out of the community.
Yes.
People, not everyone will be equally active. But how do you
Right.
still ensure that people who are there gets their purpose fulfilled and they stick around?
So let's not use the word attrition, which is really, really hardcore, jargon. For me, a community member is you. I don't even call them power users. I call them rock stars, as simple as that. Now, at any given time, no matter how big or how small a community you are, you'll have 100 rock stars. A certain amount, a certain percentage, whatever that is. Now, every community goes through a stage. So your engagement stage. Now, if it is a startup, so an early stage, if you are a community for early stage startups, after a while, they don't have anything to take, but they will have lots to give. Now, also don't forget everyone is not a giver, Hardik. At the end of the day, it's a mindset. If you're either a community person or not, right? So again, you have to keep on going back to what is it in there for me, So keep celebrating, keep being inclusive. Like I was telling you, we used to do newsletters. We used to reward people. If every week, one person used to get the Rodden Star, their articles, their content would be celebrated. And also, we even, if you've done more than 5 great pieces and all, we'd say, okay, today you do the guest newsletter. You reach out to all of our 15,000 members. I mean, that is a wow thing. It's a privilege to, represent a community of that scale. So you need to keep thinking of creative ways to celebrate your people. At the end of the day, a community is all about people, nothing else. So keep celebrating your people, recognize them, give them titles, keep doing funny things with them. At the end of the day, it's not just, a club is not just, a title, it's the people, So whatever engages people, whatever makes them feel valued, do not forget to appreciate your people.
Another one club I'm a part of, we have something called a shining star and stuff. Anytime a club member goes outside the club, takes up a role, does some activity, we call them the shining star and we recognize them in our WhatsApp groups and tell people about it. And I think that has inspired a lot of other people. Like, this guy has done it, why can't I do it? But a very important point you made over here is giver and taker. Not everyone is going to contribute to the community. Not everyone is going to give something back to the community. And that brings me back to my last poll, which I have right now, is that, ours is like a service leadership. It's servant leadership, service leadership, in terms of that we have a defined term period, whether you're in the club for 6 months, 12 months, whether you're in the district office for 1 year, and we pass it on to someone else. But during that 6 months, 1 month, there are people who want to keep doing what they're doing. They don't want to leave that position. So I'm going to have a quick poll for people. Do you believe in servant leadership? Well, a little money to be in the ExCo will not hurt anybody. Second, Kisa Kurstika, you always want to be in the power position within the club, within the institution. Or third, Alexa, what is servant leadership? That's a question for all of you to answer on the screen. But Asha, I think it's fine when everyone is not a giver, right?
Right.
It's absolutely fine. But as long as the people who are givers do not get subdued because of the trolling or these takers who just want to take everything from the community, and then at the same time they start becoming very demanding that I am a customer of the community, not a part of the community, and
Yeah.
you treat me like one, you treat me at that pedestal. How do you manage that?
It's really tough. There are days, I cannot tell you, there are days where I wonder, where does this sense of entitlement come from? Especially if you're a free community in India. Unfortunately, we do not value free. So, like sometimes, and again, online communication, at least for you guys are essentially offline, an offline driven community. Think about online communities where people have very little online etiquette. So sometimes I very nonchalantly just put up a poster saying, don't forget your P's and Q's, don't forget to say thank you and please, because sometimes you feel that people are just ordering you around, and then you're like, this is, dude, I didn't sign up for this. This is not why I left a job or a consultancy and said, hey, I'm going to help people. But why are they ordering me around? So another thing is, in community building, a very serious topic that we address is self-care. Because people, moderators on Facebook, that they're constantly struggling with abusive content, and it leads to a lot of mental health issues. I burnt out after 5 years. I took a break. For 3 months, I said, I don't want to think of building a community, right? So it happens, and especially when it's a support group. So you need to again and again keep reminding people that it's a free community, but these are the guidelines. These are the boundaries. You cross this, you troll, you will be warned 3 times. After that, you're kicked out, no matter which company CEO you are, where you come from. If you do not abide by the community guidelines, tata bye-bye, So you need to moderation, curation. These are key words in to keep a community healthy, clean, spam free. And also I would suggest have a buddy. You need, if there is a moderator, that moderator needs a buddy, that moderator needs a person to vent out to. Like, if you get a lot of toxic email, you get a lot of toxic trolls. They're very painful, Hardik. They're very painful. Again, because I was sitting remote, how do you deal with it? I would just pick out a rock star and send a thank you note to that rock star. It's sort of how the universe sort of would just balance out, So all of us need to find these little, what I call, jugards to, figure out these hacks. These are life hacks to figure out how to, keep yourself zen. Another thing that really helps with me, or would help with me, is when I get a toxic email, I would just walk away from my laptop. And my child was small, I'd go play with my child or something, So you need to, you don't ever reply in haste, because all the crap you see online, all the trolls, all the things that you cannot take back from the internet happen when you lose control, when you're very, you don't think before you respond, which is really easy, and it's easy to get carried away. So again, for online moderation and all, I think it's important that you first set some guidelines in place, set some boundaries in place, and politely tell people. And sometimes people, again, it's all about intent. Sometimes somebody doesn't intend to hurt you, but they do. So you need to privately, it's difficult. Again, online it's difficult. How do you, a lot of people just call, they'll just call and tell the member that say, hey, you crossed a boundary. So you need to figure out that.
So I think a very good point out there in terms of, taking a break, or, getting the team to do it, or just distracting yourself. And that's why Toastmasters is really helpful in terms of, you have a defined community term, right, for 6 months. So you don't get that fatigue, you don't get tired. Obviously, the 6 months can be a little taxing at time, the 12 months can be a little taxing at time, but you have a team around you which builds you, works with you. And if someone like this comes in the team together, approach. I've seen clubs have members have been very toxic in terms of communications, spamming on the WhatsApp groups or during meetings, standing up and interrupting a meeting, which is not supposed to be happening. You take your feedback, criticism outside in a pub one-to-one environment. That's very good. So one last question before we wrap up this session today is the fact that building a community. I remember you had mentioned about brand and you walk the talk that you're part of this community. Like every Rodin Hooder will probably wear a T-shirt and move around, and that's when others will come and ask or check out, and you build it from zero to around 15,000, probably 2 to 3 years. So tell us something about that aspect of how does one attract the next person to be a part of it?
So it's all word for mouth. It's all word of mouth. It's very simple. If you find value in a community, you add on. So for me, more than the Rodin Hoods, I see this in Kids Book Cafe. The Rodin Hoods was a very new thing. People had not heard of community. So obviously, because every founder would get early traction, and so they had a lot going for them. So they obviously would join, so there was something for them to learn and, But in Kids Book Cafe, what I see is it's a simple thing. If you create value, it's all about value creation. If you create value for one person, that person will invite 100 friends of hers to join. Out of that, even if another 30, 40 join and they see value, again, they will, add their friends. So in the last, Kids Book Cafe is not even 2 years old, but we've had totally organic growth, So it's about creating impact stories every day. We say we are raising readers together. So if I have been able to help a parent introduce meaningful books that their babies or their toddlers enjoy, if you're able to introduce books to a child and then very next day they will post a picture, that you have already created value. So the key is that you need to know your purpose. You need to know what value you can create to create a difference in somebody's life. If you impact somebody's life, that is where, communities are done right. So it's as simple as that, Hardik. My Rodin Hooders, some of them who are now parents, are automatically members of Kids Book Cafe because that trust has been built. In between, I was a consultant to a parenting group, a parenting community, and it's amazing how and I never knew that I would, someday create a niche community which would be useful to them. But most of the people I knew immediately joined because that trust has been created. So again, it's about being genuine, and creating value for people. If the community builder and the culture of the community is not genuine, then you're in for trouble, because then that's where all the matlabi people will come. I need to, show myself off or get some traction. Okay, I will speak here and I won't give back, So it starts with you. If you're building a community, it starts with your intent. So that's what matters. You have to be a part of people's journey. Hardik, I've been a part of your startup journey, whether you know it or not. I remember that, maybe 6 years ago, you posted a very emotional story. You may not know, but because I edited it and I'm the first person to see it before it gets published, I also cried. So that is the whole thing. That's the whole thing. It's not being an emotional fool, but it's being a part of everybody's journey, whether it's a startup journey, whether it's a parenting journey, whether it's a reading journey, whether it's a Toastmasters journey. So that is where everything falls in place, is your sense of belonging and the whole tribe culture, and where you create long-lasting relationships. Today, I know, Hardik, any founder, I'm sure any entrepreneur you meet, you will remember them that I met them at the Rodin Hoods. Why? Value creation.
I think that's a very important point you made, Asha. It's about how genuine you are to the purpose of what you're doing it. Are you doing it for showing off, making attention for yourself, or is it just because you want to genuinely improve yourself? That's also perfectly fine. Or help someone else improve. And that's where even the Toastmasters, the mentor-mentee program comes in, the peer-to-peer learning comes in, where we are actually helping a fellow contestant. Right? We have the contest, you were part of it earlier. We have contests going on parallel to this. And while the contests are there, we are competitive. I know after the contest, all of us reach out to the other contestants and ask for feedback. What do you think about my speech? And people actually go back and give a feedback and evaluation to them. That was really, really well done. Thank you so much, Asha. Yes, if we didn't have the technical glitches, we could have had a longer session. But that means that that also reminds us that we need to do our next session in Goa. And one important thing, all members in the audience, Asha mentioned that we all are the brand of Toastmasters over here.
Yes.
I'm going to share the Instagram link on the chat section. I want all of you to click a photo of you attending Kaleidoscope and go and tag us, because that's how you let the people know that you are a Toastmaster, and that's how someone else might just get inspired to be a part of our sessions going forward. Thank you so much, Asha, for being part of the session, joining us all the way from Goa.
Thank you so much, Hardik. Thank you. It was my honor. I've never been a part of Toastmasters, and it's been on my bucket list. I just wish that, the internet would have been kinder to me. But yeah, somehow we've managed. I'm also clicking a picture so that I'm not taking a screenshot. Yeah. So yeah, I'll also do something on social media. Thanks so much, Hardik. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much. With that, that's a wrap to our third medley session in 2 days. And before we hit the break, before I hand over, before we move to the second floor, there's some little most left in this segment to do. So I'm going to hand over the center stage, the virtual stage, to our Master of Ceremonies, Gaurav Vasani.